shifting in, nearing hour number 2 of our live coverage high atop the Wannabe Inn in Englewood Beach, Florida. Brendan Matthews, Shane Sherman, ABC 7 meteorologist Bob Harrigan with you. And our second race is coming up in a little bit with the Super V Lights, the Super Cats, and Class number 5. A little earlier, we were mentioning the work that our friends in OPA have done to put on this incredible show for all of you fine folks here in the Sun Coast, on the Gulf Coast of Florida in Englewood Beach. And Ed Smitty Smith had a chance to talk it over with our very own John Roger down on the docks. John, hello.
Thanks, Brendan. Back here in the pits area with the What's Up boat and the man behind it all with OPA. Smitty, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. This is an amazing event so far that we've seen. It's just for Friday's races, the beautiful day we have set up today. Let's start with OPA. Tell us a little bit about how you guys decided to do the World Championships here in Englewood.
Well, we're a Northeast racing organization, basically. That's where most of our events take place. So when we got a phone call from somebody down in Florida saying, hey, towards the end of November, would you guys like to come to Florida? I'd be an idiot to say no. So it was a great deal. I really dealt with just Elaine here. She's one of the members of the board. And just a great rapport back and forth. They really put this thing together in a very short period of time and did a wonderful job. We're thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. And when you take a look at the race course and the way that where the boats are, the amount of people that have been here so far, when you were putting this event together, when you think of events, you think of how many people are going to show up. It looks like this one has turned out to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. The biggest question that I get as an organization is how many boats you're going to bring, and you never know. You never know who's going to be ready, who's not going to be ready. And I think we had 44 boats show up here for this event, which is good. It's a good, strong event for us. But we did the block party on, I guess it was Thursday night, and there had to be 10, 15,000 people out on the street for it. I was blown away, But you see that. We go to some big cities and we put on these events in big cities, and you get lost in everything else that's going on. Like we race in Atlantic City, who's in the casino, who's there, and you come to these small communities like this, and to see that kind of people come out and support the event, they're only here because the event was here. So it's really cool, and the people here have just been fantastic to us.
Absolutely. So you start with Lake Race, you come to Englewood to wrap it all up, and overall, are we looking at the same kind of schedule for next year?
Yeah, I spoke to Mike Shepard, spoke to Alvin the other day about Lake Race. I think they're moving that back 1 week earlier. Last year, we had a couple of our events kind of straddling that, so it kind of hurt our boat count out there. This year, I'm going to structure that a little differently. So we have a big window on each side of Lake Race. It was my first time out the Lake of the Ozarks last year. I was blown away. What an event. anybody that wants to go spend a little holiday time or whatever. That is the party place, boy. It was cool.
Well, they're watching you right now, so you can give them a shout out if you'd like. But talk a little bit about your boat here now. You don't just do OPA. You've got the What's Up boat. Tell us about the boat.
Yeah, well, this is kind of a family affair. I started racing years back with my younger son, and with OPA at that time. OPA's been around for over 30 years. People don't realize that. And the president at that time had kind of stepped down and handed me the thing, and a group of us got together and just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. It's evolved into a really nice series, We're looking for growth. My goal is one day to put 100 boats at a race site. If I ever get to that, I would be really, really pleased. But it's a family event for me. I race with my older son in this boat, and then my two sons get in the green boat on the other side, and they race that together. My wife's a big supporter of everything we do. Thank goodness for that. Otherwise, you know how that program goes. But,
yeah, of course. And overall, for the folks that are not familiar with powerboat racing, what kind of boat is this? How is it powered?
This is a fountain power boat, 38-foot fountain power boat. It's built on a production bottom, same bottom you'll get on your regular pleasure boat. It's got a pair of Mercury Racing 525s in it. Will run 116, 117 miles an hour on power that half these people might be out fishing on, But it's a great boat. The little green boat, that's another story. That class they run in, they're bracketed by speeds, but they figured out it's not how fast you can go, how fast you can get to that number. So that's sitting on about 900 horsepower itself just to go run that little 24-footer around.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, Smitty, thanks so much for telling us all about all the things going on. We can't wait to see what we got in store for next year.
Yeah, I want to say hello to everybody out on the lake, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Fantastic. I'm John Roger reporting live from the pits. Back to you, Brendan.
And Smitty, thank you so much down there on the docks. And again, all the hard work that OPA has put in, they are putting on a great show for us and all of our viewers and listeners through all of our media partners. And we've got a lot of great sponsors, too. I want to thank another one of those, Abel's Marine Sales and Services, serving the greater Englewood, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, and Venice areas. Abel's Marine is the first and only Marine with a Honda Marine Master Tech in the state of Florida. So thanks to Abel's Marine Sales and Services. And I hear that familiar sound, Shane Sherman. I hear it.
Yeah, what you're hearing there, Brendan, is the Marine Max, looks like their Boston Whalers Center Council pace boat bringing down the parade lap for the Super Cats of Cleveland Construction and Amsoil. And then right behind them, we'll have the Super V Lights in their parade lap, and then Class 5. So as you folks are watching the Super Cats come into your vantage point now down by start-finish, they finished Amsoil first and Cleveland Construction second on Friday's day of racing. So they will battle today for a world championship overall, and they will be crowned a world champion today. And as you hear it coming from our broadcast booth, the Super V Lights jockeying for position on their parade lap and doing a little playing with each other, just kind of feeling each other out to see who has what for acceleration. Little sound of horsepower coming, and here comes our Class 5 guys. And Bob, you mentioned in Class 5 we got some local guys here that just recently got into racing.
Yeah, not crazy, actually, not crazy, and that's their boat right there. Good News, I believe it is Good News Pest.
Yep.
And we got two brothers there. One brother, his name is Ryan, and Ryan Kreisen. He decided a couple years ago to start this off. He's from Venice. He got his brother on throttle, and he's driving. His brother's name's Ricky. I had a chance to interview him on Friday, and these two guys, they won a race, too, this past year in July. So they got in it 2 years ago, won their first race, and they're racing out here today.
So a little local flavor for our folks here in Venice and in Englewood. This is a fun race, too. I mean, again, a lot to live up to, because race 1, especially in that Class 6, was something else. But these Super V Lights, they put on a show. And then you got the Super Cats. My goodness, and again, we've got some local kids to root for here in Class number 5 as well. Our second race of the day. And again, for those of you just tuning in, this is the parade lap. So we're still a couple of minutes away from actually kicking this race off.
Yeah, they kind of go by the beach, let everyone see the boat, and pick your boat. Pick the one you think is going to win,
Absolutely.
right? You cheer on your favorite boat there as they go on by. They kind of display nice displays on the sides of those boats, all their sponsors too, letting them know who's helping them out. As far
Entertainment
as
purposes only, though, of course.
That's right.
No wagering.
There is no wagering here. What a great afternoon, too, it has been thus far. We still got a couple hours left and a few more races left to go, too, here, and the weather couldn't be better. We were looking at a lot of rain this morning. That rain has, for the most part, cleared out temporarily. We have a big cold front on the way, but not until this event is over, it looks like.
We see a lot of clouds there on the horizon, Bob. We're looking towards the northwest, I believe, from our perch here.
Yep, northwest. And that cloud bank that you see off in the distance is the leading edge of that front. So we're hoping that it stays away. We think it's got a long time before it reaches us, but behind it, much colder air.
And I noticed a lot of that precipitation from the last couple of days, it would just kind of sit out there in the Gulf, just kind of meander without any real direction to it, which, again, with the cold front, though, that usually gives it the push that precipitation
Let
needs.
me tell you something, guys. You talk about Missouri and the folks up there listening, they think it's a cold front. We've had no fall. Temperatures here, it's probably the warmest November on record.
Wow.
Highs have been into the mid to upper 80s, record-breaking temperatures. And there goes a great boat on by right there. That's a nice-looking boat, isn't it? That's sleek. So the cold snap coming will bring us down to winter a little bit for a few days anyway.
I think that might have been the one race boat that just passed us by here as we get set for our second race of the afternoon, and they're coming back around, heading towards turn number 3, and they'll set up their shop.
So they're coming back around right now. The race hasn't started
Nope,
quite.
still has not started. They'll set up over here.
We've got somebody making their way into the south end of the course here at a real quick pace. I'm thinking that's one of our bat boats.
Getting back in the race, maybe.
Yeah, it does. I bet you they had to run in for fuel in between races, and they're just now getting back out here, and going to make it for this other round. That's one of the unique things about the Bat boats. They can run those boats in multiple different classes of racing.
I gotcha.
And just have a great weekend with that boat for a relatively small expense in comparison to some of the larger classes. And they just come out here and run and have a great time with them.
You know, I went to the OPA's website to check up a little bit more on my research, right? And I saw the page on rules and regulations. There's a whole book on that. You know, what you got to, the rules and regulations that you have to follow. It's amazing what these guys have to go through and make sure that they're inside that guideline to win the World Cup and World Championship that we're having today.
Absolutely, and you speak of those rules. A lot of these classes, various technical rules, speed breakout rules, and one of the things that OPA has brought to the table for our folks and folks listening back at home at Lake Race is we have a run what you brung class, and that means just it sounds like. It's run what you brung and hope you brung enough, and it brings out the big boys. I mean, we see speeds of 180 plus mile an hour at Lake Race, and it's a battle of horsepower and talent in that boat, and it brings the best in the world. We had Randy Sism up there, Sean Torrente from Overseas Racing. All the best guys in the world come up there just armed for bear to do battle at Lake Race.
I know a lot of people here are going to be looking forward to the Lake Race up there in June. And I've got those the official schedule. We'll pass it along to you folks later on in the show because I know we've got Lake folks watching and listening. But we've got folks down here in Florida that are going to want to make that trip if they've never been to Lake Race before. It's an incredible week-long event that culminates with Lake Race the weekend following Memorial Day.
Nice.
And it's Beavers on the dam there at Lake of the Ozarks, and they do an incredible job, and we'll have that broadcast for you next June.
And Dennis was telling me, I think, that there was a speed record there at one point. Was it 240 or something to that effect? 240 miles an hour.
That was at our Lake Ozarks shootout that's held in August, generally about the weekend before Labor Day. And that's the big number right now.
Yep.
And 244 mile an hour by a twin turbine-powered 50-foot Mystic catamaran.
Wow.
That I understand is up for sale right now.
It is. It is up for sale. They're taking sealed bids. I believe they're going to accept the bids on that. I think I read December 15th. So if you're out there looking for a sealed bid, I'm going to personally guess it's going to take somewhere around $1.4 million, $1.5 million to own that piece of hardware. But we can take the Spirit of Qatar off
Dennis
the side.
Klotzer and Ken Kenzie, if they've got a few million lying around, that's a strong possibility. I want to see Ken or Dennis break that record at the Lake of the Ozarks. They're in the milling area right now. I know we'll be coming up with another one of our local breaks here soon, but I promise you folks, you're going to have a ton of racing action here in our second race. This is the Super V Lights, it's the Super Cats, and it's Class 5 just getting ready to make their way. And like I said, the Super V Lights and the Super Cats put on one heck of a show. Amsoil was our winner on Friday. Shane, Cleveland Construction, they've certainly got their sights set on Paul Whittier and Bob Teague in that number 77 Amsoil in Super Cat. We step aside. Race 2 is next. We're live high atop the Wannabe Inn. It's the 2015 World Championships in OPA. We're back after this.